Hello, my friends, and welcome to a long overdue edition of a look back at beers that kind of broke the mold for Polk and got me from there to here. From there to here. So back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Not that long, but stay with me. We used to go to the LCBO looking for beers. And we looked for beers because we wanted to get badges on Untapped. That's what we did. Now, the plethora and explosion of Ontario craft beer had not yet hit our friends at the LCBO. And what we found was a collection of macro beers, European beers, and the sprinkling of Ontario craft beers with the occasional American craft beer. So not a terrible thing, for the time. We didn't know any better. We literally had no idea what we were doing. One of the beers that we really, really loved, and that really helped to turn us around from, sort of just plain old lagers to something a little bit different, was Newcastle Brown Ale from England. Now, it was imported, so very, very fancy. But definitely a beer we bought many times. Many, many times. It would be our treat beer. We'd drink a dozen MGDs and have some Newcastle to make us feel like we were being fancy. So, it was what it was. It was a different time, most definitely. As you can see, we got some company. Should never chair. Jinx loves to come to these look backs because she remembers the bad old days, don't you, Jinx? So, it was a brown ale. Now, it's nothing fancy. It's a very simple beer. But, again, I like to look back and see, what I thought then to what I think now. This was a very, very super flavorful beer back then for me. This was a big step away from the Bravo Lights and PBRs and Old Milwaukee. So, cheers to looking back at the old days. Yeah, I mean, toffee, caramel, biscuity, toasted malts. It is what it is. It's a brown ale. It's not a bad beer, but I mean, in terms of brown ales, there are definitely beers here in Ontario, and there are craft brown ales here in Ontario that are absolutely above and beyond what this is. But as a formative year beer, this was definitely a step up from what we were drinking. So, it's nice to salute those beers that sort of help to break the mold and break us out of that chain. And plus, you know what? We did feel a little cooler drinking them. And maybe that's a little silly when you're, in your late 30s and early 40s to feel cool about drinking a beer. But it was the first time that it wasn't about, you didn't buy this beer because you wanted to get hammered off of it. You bought it because you wanted to taste it. And that was a really, really new thing for us back in the day. So, would I buy it on a regular? No. I think the beer served its purpose. It served its time. It's certainly not a beer I would be mad if somebody had in their fridge and they gave it to me. It's definitely it's a good beer. It's an enjoyable beer, but we've moved beyond what this beer represented at the time. Still fun to look back. Still fun to buy it every once in a while because you know what? It's always good to have a little laugh at what we thought back then. But, you got to know where you come from to know where you're going, I say anyways, guys. So have a good night, and I'm going to go enjoy this and watch some Cranberries videos because, feeling a little sentimental tonight. Cheers. You going to hang out with me too? Of course you are. Let's go.